Hello, welcome to another brand deep dive. This time we're talking about Revlon. I have an original, something from the 1950s to show you when we get to this product launch. Welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, hello, my name is Stacy, and about twice a month I do brand deep dives. I will have that playlist listed down below. Let's first start with their cruelty-free status. Unfortunately, Revlon is not cruelty-free. What I thought was an interesting little thing that I didn't remember this being a little bit of a scandal is it was not discovered until 2012 that Revlon was selling in China. Up until that, they had actually been on PETA's cruelty-free list. How did Revlon start? It was founded in 1932 by Charles Revston, along with his brother Joseph and chemist Charles Lachman. And it actually started as a nail polish company. So why Revlon? Where did that name come from? Originally it was named Revlac, which was supposed to be for Revston and Lachman. But they felt like that just didn't sound right, wasn't catchy. If you look at Revson, the L replaced the S and then it became Revlon. The first nail polish line launched, and that was the shade Cherries in the Snow. The original logo that they had, it had a diamond shape above the L. The first official trademark date of Revlon was May 1st, 1934. If you have used Revlon lipsticks at all, you are probably familiar with the super luxurious lipstick line. One of them is what I'm wearing today. Did you know that this formula was actually introduced in the 1940s? In 1941, the United States entered into the Second World War. And how Revlon contributed to the war efforts, assembled first aid kits, they made dye markers for the Navy, and they even switched some of their manufacturing plants to make hand grenades for the Army. They introduced leg silk, which was a leg makeup. So you could kind of be like, hey, they were doing self-tanner before we even knew about self-tanner. And in 1946, they went on to update the formula of their nail enamel and they repackaged it as Lestron in a bottle. And I am just fascinated by vintage packaging. If you are too, I do want to give a shout out to an Instagram account. She does have a website too. It's the Makeup Museum, and she just has so much fascinating vintage makeup in like different compacts and stuff. In 1949, they combined lip fashion with a ballpoint pen. They produced Fashion Writes, a lipstick pen. You could apply lipstick on one end and write on the other end. Have you ever seen anything like that in modern days? And again, would you purchase that if a company came out with something like that? And in 1950s, they launched something called the Love Pat. Do you have a Love Pat compact? This is from the 1950s, Love Pat compact, and it is a metal. And look at how pretty the embossing is on that. It's pretty weighty. Here's what it looks like. And you open it up. I mean, after all these years, it's a little bit loose. I did buy this off of Posh. Has a mirror, and then this is powder in there. You can see it did have some use. It definitely has a smell to it. I would not use this. I just thought that was so cool. Also in 1950, they did a rename. It went from Revlon Export Corporation to Revlon International Corporation. They also opened a factory in Brazil. And again, another cool packaging. This is the lip mirror, and it came in two versions, a thicker one for the lustrous lipstick and a thinner one for lip fashion. 1951, they were continuing to expand. There was new factories opened in England and France, and in the United States, the company products were distributed directly to 1,700 department stores, 5,700 drugstores, and numerous high-class beauty salons. Throughout the years in the 50s, they added more things to the line. An aquamarine bath line. So there was lotions, bath powders, deodorants. And in 1952, they became the first beauty company to advertise on television. And in 1952, they launched their iconic shade Fire and Ice, a bold red lipstick. And a little fun fact about this, it was named after a poem by Robert Frost. And Charles created it himself. He was mixing multiple shades, and he just kept doing that until he found the perfect hue. And it was so popular that Vogue magazine planned their entire November issue around the Fire and Ice lipstick. In 1953, again, more expansion. They were the first American beauty company to open an office in London. And in 1953 is when they launched the Cherries and Snow lipstick. And it is still, as you can see, made today. And if you are a fan of the show Mrs. Maisel, anyone watch that? It's pretty good. There's a scene in that. The Cherries and Snow is one of the colors that she recommends to a customer. Also in the 50s, they got into skincare with the flowing beauty creams. And there was different products launched to this throughout the whole 50s. For example, the White Sable Liquid Cleansing Cream. Then they had the Moon Drops Moisture Balms. And they even got into hair care. In 1952, they developed the Aquamarine Lotion Shampoo. In 1954, Joseph left the company. In 1955, they changed their name to Revlon Inc. And also that same year, they established Revlon Pharmaceuticals Division. In 1955, they went public. In 1956, Thayer Laboratories, a drug division, was established. Also that same year, Ideal Toy Company began making Revlon dolls. In 1958, they even got into weight reduction. They launched Thin Down, which was appetite suppressants and vitamins. And you know, they hadn't gotten into the men's category yet, so yes. In 1958, they also got into men's cologne and Top Brass, which was a medicated men's hairdressing used to fight dandruff. Also got into hair coloring field. In 1961, they opened the House of Revlon salon in New York City. It only remained open until 1972. And a little fun fact, it said that they had to have a doorman, not because, we just wanted it to be like elegant and make ladies feel special, but because the doors were so big and heavy at the front that they needed a doorman just so they could get the doors open, and that the women didn't have to struggle with opening them. And in 1960s, they even launched wigs. They also had a change in the logo here. The diamond shape from the logo was removed. In 1962, they are now trading on the New York Stock Exchange. And in 1973, we had Charlie. 1974, Charlie, the fragrance was so popular that they expanded it into a line of cosmetics. Charles Revson, he died in 1975, and it is reported that at that time of his death, the Revlon net sales was $749,773,000. Moving on to the 80s, they also had another logo change. Now the logo was in all caps. 1985, they were acquired by Pantry Pride, a supermarket. And it is said that that was a hostile takeover. Pantry Pride later changed the name to Revlon Group, Inc. It is sold to an investment firm. And then in 1989, it was acquired by a holdings company. In 1998, that is when they launched the Color Stay line, and it was definitely a perceived value because at that time, a regular tube of lipstick retailed for $1.99, but the Color Stay lipstick retailed for $8.95. And the 90s, they launched the age-defying line and it is said that they designed this to target specifically baby boomers. They also really leaned heavily into supermodels. Do you remember, Cindy Crawford and Revlon ads? In 2015, we had another logo change and a simplified slash mark above the N. 2016, Revlon acquires the Elizabeth Arden Company. 2022, Revlon filed for bankruptcy. Luckily, in February of this year, there was a deal announced that the lenders would remove the largest remaining roadblocks to a plan that would allow the cosmetic maker to exit from bankruptcy by April. Just some other little things to mention before I get to a slideshow of more ads. They do have some vegan options, not all. They don't have any specific gluten-free products, and their products are made all over the world. And you can buy Revlon at numerous places, online, at multiple stores. They have their own website. They're on Amazon, of course. You can buy them in drugstores like Walgreens, CVS, supermarkets, Walmart, Target, department stores, beauty supply stores, specialty like Ulta Beauty, Sally Beauty. So multiple places you can find them. And I would say if you are going to purchase, to just compare prices, because I have found that sometimes like Ulta can be a little bit more than Walgreens. And some of those lipstick shades from the past you can still buy today. From the 50s, Love That Pink, Cherries in the Snow, Fire and Ice, and Love That Red. From the 80s, you can still purchase Pink in the Afternoon. And a fun fact about this color. Revlon came out and said in an ad years ago that Pink in the Afternoon was worn by Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. But some people have said, oh yes, you know, they said it was, and then it looks like that's the shade where she's applying it in the cab. Breakfast at Tiffany's came out in 1961. This shade came out in the 80s. In the 1990s, we have the shades that you can still buy today. I would love to know if any of these are your favorites or you wore these back in the day. Coffee Bean, Toast of New York, what I'm wearing today. This is not from the 90s, this tube. Wine with Everything, Rum Raisin, I had that one, Black Cherry. And it is estimated that Revlon sells over 10 million lipsticks annually. If you enjoyed this video, I think that you will like this one next. I hope to see you over there in the comments, and have a good one. Bye.